And now, back to Tech Talk Radio.
Welcome back to Tech Talk Radio, and the season is upon us. The big crunch, of course, getting our taxes done, and we're not that far away. And if you've thought, you know what, I really want to get my taxes in, we've been told you don't want to do them on paper. You don't want to send them in on paper because it is going to delay quite a bit. So you want to be looking at a program like TurboTax. And for many years, we've talked about TurboTax and how powerful and what a great program it is. And the go-to person is CPA and tax expert Lisa Green-Lewis, who is with us on Tech Talk Radio. Lisa, always great to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
A little history for those that, maybe they've seen ads, but they're not too familiar if they've never used it. Tell us a little history about TurboTax.
TurboTax has been helping taxpayers easily file their taxes and also get their tax refunds for over 30 years. It switched from ChipSoft, Intuit bought TurboTax in 1993.
For the average user, or maybe somebody who's never used it before, are they going to find it pretty easy to work with? I mean, we've come a long way with the program with wizards that help out. Is it still easy?
It's very easy. TurboTax, we improve every year. We listen to our customers and we make it easier every year. It easily guides you through your taxes. It asks simple questions. And then you don't need to know anything about the tax laws or tax forms. It fills out everything for you to accurately file your return. And also, you can jumpstart your return by snapping a picture of your W-2, or even now for self-employed, your 1099 NEC. You can snap a photo of that and all the information will go to the correct forms.
What are the requirements for somebody to file? And can they use TurboTax to determine if they need to be filing their taxes?
Yes. So no matter if you have a simple tax return, so that's like 1040 form only and no schedules, all the way up to if you're self-employed or an investor, you can use TurboTax. And when you go online with TurboTax, it will guide you. It'll ask you questions about your life, what happened, in 2021, and then it'll guide you to the correct product. And also one thing to point out, if you have a simple tax return, you can file for free. And you can do it yourself for free, but also right now until March 31st, you can also get help from our TurboTax Live experts for free if you have a simple return. So they can either help you along the way or you can fully hand your taxes off to them. And that's until March 31st.
If somebody has a complex situation, like maybe they own properties in different states, or, like myself, I have an LLC, and there's businesses out there. I got to tell you, I love how easy it is to use. But for our listeners there, are you going to find different tax situations, different products that will handle it? How many different TurboTax options are available to the consumer based on those type of situations?
Yes. So depending on your situation, so we talked about the TurboTax Free Edition, and that's if you have a simple tax return. But then also if you're a homeowner, that would be TurboTax Deluxe. If you are an investor, whether you invest in real estate, stocks, or cryptocurrency, you can use TurboTax Premier. And then we have TurboTax Self-Employed if you're self-employed as well. And you also mentioned an LLC. If you are a sole proprietor LLC, you can use TurboTax Self-Employed. For all of those levels in your situation, you can also connect to our TurboTax Live experts.
You can use the trial version for free, get in there and see what your situation is going to be, and then decide, okay, yeah, this looks great, this is good. And then at that point, if they're in a situation where they would have to upgrade to one of those programs, they could still go ahead and take care of that all right there, and it's ready to go.
Right. Some people want to do their taxes themselves, but they may come up with a question or multiple questions and decide they want to connect to a TurboTax Live expert. And in that case, they're easily accessible. They can connect to them and ask them their questions. Or if they decide they want to fully hand their taxes over, they can do that.
Now, working from home, we've seen a lot of people doing that over the last couple of years. Some people finally decided, well, this is the time I'm going to go ahead and start a business. Or maybe their employer is telling them, well, you need to work from home. How does the self-employment version of this work out for many people?
Yes. So if you are self-employed, one thing to point out, if you have an employer, unfortunately, you can't deduct your work from home expenses.
Oh,
I know that's a big question now with people having, working from home for like 2 years.
right.
But if you're self-employed, our TurboTax self-employed product, it searches for industry specific deductions. We've done a lot of research. We know people are jumping into different professions, really unique professions, like over the last year, the creator economy, people are influencers. So our product, it gets smarter every year. It uses AI and machine learning, and it learns those professions, and it'll search for industry specific deductions directly related to those professions. Not everybody has the same type of expenses that they can deduct.
The program really does find those deduction and helps out. Like if somebody has maybe a home they're renting, that's going to be income. They have to think about this. This can actually help them weed through that and help them get the maximum deduction that they can.
Right. And I know big trend that we're seeing, of course, after the pandemic, like new investors or people investing in crypto. We have our TurboTax Premier product that we looked into that and redesigned it. And now it can import up to 10,000 stock transactions and 4,000 cryptocurrency transactions at once. It's pretty incredible, and it directly imports from your financial institution.
Now, a lot of the people that have decided to go ahead and take a look at crypto maybe have money that they've put into crypto, whether it be Ethereum or Bitcoin or whatnot, but they've not taken anything out. Now, that's confused a lot of people. Are they at that point, if they've just got the money sitting in there, they just took expendable income and bought crypto, do they have to pay taxes on it if they've not touched it?
Yeah, that's a big question, especially with people just diving into it. But you don't have to pay taxes on it until you have a transaction, like a sales transaction, just like a stock transaction.
Right.
So not until that point. And it would be handled like a stock if you've been holding on to it like an investment. Either have a capital gain or capital loss. One
of the things we heard a lot about this year, and everybody was like pulling their hair out going, what does this mean? Because with many people using Venmo, PayPal, some of the other services to receive payments, Bill.com, they suddenly have to claim some of that money, over $600. How is that working? And how will that affect people? Is it going to be depending on why they're getting that money? Yes. And that's one thing to point out, that it doesn't start until your 2022 taxes that you file in 2023, but it is going to be a difference. So right now, the way the law is, payers or the third-party providers, they send you a 1099-K if you've done 200 transactions and $20,000. It's going down dramatically, more in line with like self-employed. So they will be reporting if you get $600 or more. And we do see a lot of questions because a lot of people, I know, I'll pay my kids in Venmo, give them cash in Venmo, or you pay somebody back for dinner. So when people saw that this new law was coming up, they were wondering if they're going to be taxed on like their friend paying for their dinner, if that's going to be tracked. But it is for self-employed people. Right. That's where it will be tracked. It is something that, and that's what I love about TurboTax. Not only is it for the now, for us to look at the previous year, how much money we've made, the transactions, but it really does give you a way to get ready for what's coming next year. The previous year, for 2020, I can actually take that information and have it imported into TurboTax to actually help work my 2021 taxes. And we're going to see the same for 2022. Right. It does make it really easy so you don't have to enter all that information. You talked about, people that have a more involved return. Let's say you have real estate. You don't want to re-enter all that information again, and it just automatically transfers over easily so you could keep track of things related to your rental property or whatever it is. Absolutely. Now, I also use another great Intuit product, QuickBooks. I absolutely love QuickBooks. I use the mobile to track my mileage. I use QuickBooks for invoicing when I need to do that. Can that be integrated into the TurboTax or be able to get information from that just to make the step a little easier?
Yes, it does integrate. So QuickBooks Self-Employed, whatever you track in there, your income, your expenses, it also has receipt capture. All of that information transfers directly from QuickBooks Self-Employed to TurboTax Self-Employed, and it goes on your correct form too, your Schedule C. So you don't have to type all of that in again.
Well, Lisa, so many great products. Now, we know you could get it in retail, but you also go to the website. What is the website our listeners want to go to?
They can just go to TurboTax.com.
Lisa Green-Lewis, always great talking to you. And hopefully we get a chance to talk next year and see where we're at with all of this.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We'll be back with more of Tech Talk Radio.